Okay, good morning, everyone. How's everyone doing? Still waking up? That's okay. Well, I would like to welcome everyone to our 80th Annual Youth and Government Day program. With over 80 years of hosting this lovely program, we have established a tradition of youth involvement in local government. Through organizations such as the City of San Mateo, the Youth Activities Council, San Mateo Union High School District, Sarah High School, and the co-sponsorship of the San Mateo Rotary Club, the Youth and Government program is well supported. The purpose of the Youth and Government program is to acquaint and involve students of San Mateo high schools with the process and functions of local government. Our goal is for youth to become interested and active in their local government. This morning, you'll have an opportunity to spend time with consultants in the Community Development Department and giving feedback on the city general plan. Following that, 2 speakers chosen from each group will be presenting at the luncheon hosted by the San Mateo Rotary Club at Poplar Creek. I especially want to thank all of the high schools for each of their support of this program, and the Department of Parks and Recreation staff who are responsible for organizing the program, and for the Rotary Club for hosting our lunch. Before we carry on with our day, I would like to introduce some of our YAC members, our Youth Activities Council. Please stand if you are on YAC. Let's see, we got 1, 2, 3. Awesome. All right, you guys can have a seat. Thank you guys very much. Thank you, thank you. And let's see, who is here from Aragon? Raise your hand. Oh yeah, we got 1, 2, awesome. San Mateo, we have a really good diverse group today. Hillsdale, yeah, oh, there we are. Sarah, yeah, represent. Drew School, yes. Burlingame, awesome. And San Mateo Middle College, woohoo, awesome. So before we carry on, we have a few housekeeping rules, so please keep your phones on silent. We have this person, I don't know if you guys have heard of her. Her name is Jackie Spear. Well, she will be in this room after we are through with this for today, so please pick up all of your trash. I will repeat, Jackie Spear will be in this room, so please pick up all of your trash. Restrooms are located just outside of the doors in the atrium, and please note that time is limited today, so we need to keep on a very strict schedule. And let's have a great and fabulous and fun day. And I would now like to welcome Sheila Kanzian, our Director of Parks and Recreation.
Thank you, Christine. Good morning, everyone. Okay, do better than that. Good morning, everyone. All right, that's better. I know that she said that you were just waking up, but hey, we in Parks and Recreation know that we can do better than that. Welcome to everyone for another Youth and Government program. For anybody, this is a returning year? Has anybody done Youth and Government before? 1? No, I see a hand, but it's like... So yes. So congratulations to all of you, because if you're a first timer, this is really going to be a great experience for all of you to be able to really impact and have influence on city policy. And particularly this year's topic is very, very relevant, and it is updating the city's general plan. Many of you may not know this morning what a general plan is, but I guarantee you, by the end of the day, you will all know what a general plan is. More importantly, you can go out into the community and be ambassadors for your parents, your neighborhood, to get people involved in this. A general plan is probably the most important policy document that a city has, because it really guides the future development of a city. It tells the policymakers, here's how many areas that we think should be devoted to commercial activity. Here's how many areas should be zoned for residential. Here's the kind of traffic that we want to see happen or not. Here's what we want to do with our park and open space areas. So it really is the most important planning document a city has. And you all as youth have a really important role in helping to provide input to that document today. So congratulations to all of you for being really a part of the day's activities. So as you go through the day's activities, you'll be meeting lots of city people, one of whom just walked in right now, our Deputy Mayor, Diane Pappen. Good morning. So our Mayor, Rick Bonilla, will be here later this morning. In a short time, you'll also hear from our City Manager, Larry Patterson. More importantly, when you get to the Rotary Luncheon today, which most of you will say at the end of the day, when asked what is your favorite part, I bet you 90% of you are going to say it was the lunch. And that's okay, because we usually get the same answer every year. But when you get to the Rotary Club, you're going to be having an opportunity to meet all other types of community leaders in San Mateo. Please do not take the easy way out and sit with each other. In fact, if we see you all sitting with each other, we're going to come up and ask you to move to another table. Because this is really an important opportunity and a chance for you to really interact with people from nonprofit organizations, from our education system, from other city departments, from people who own businesses here in San Mateo, the Chamber of Commerce, the Convention and Visitors Bureau. I can go on and on and on in terms of the representatives who you'll be meeting and having an opportunity to interact with. So please do not take the easy way out. Yes, you can sit with one other person you know, but more than that you cannot. So it's a great opportunity to be able to talk with people, tell them about your plans, tell them about your future. One of the things, and I'm going to take just one more minute, Christine, to plug is our Rotary Club in San Mateo. For those of you, anybody who is a senior here? Anybody who's seniors? Okay, I'm particularly talking to you. Our Rotary Club is very, very proud of the fact that we give out every year over $110,000 in scholarships to local students. And we do that in a number of programs. We have a scholarship program for students who are going on to a community college. So if some of you just don't have the family financial resources to be able to go on to a full four-year college, we provide scholarships for about 25 students who are going on to community college. I would encourage you in February and March of next year to check with whoever on your campus is the scholarship guidance counselor, whatever it is, because that's when we get our applications out. We also do a four-year scholarship program. So students who are going on to four-year colleges, last year we gave out about $65,000 in scholarships for four-year students. So please check. We raise a lot of money. You will hear people today at our Rotary meeting getting fined, for doing really nice things or for having a grandkid or getting married or whatever. Those cost us a lot of money, but we do it for one purpose, and that is all the money goes into our scholarship fund. And so that's the reason that we were able to do so much in terms of scholarships. So for seniors, please take a look and get in contact with your guidance counselor, your scholarship advisor, starting February of next year, because that's when the applications are going to be available. And one of the best things is that it talks about not only what you've accomplished in school, but also what have you done in the community. And so what's the one thing you're going to be able to put down on your scholarship application that you did? Youth in government, absolutely. And those are the kinds of things. I've been a mentor for the four-year scholarship program for probably about 12 years. And I'm always really proud because not every student who applies gets money. We have a limited amount of money. I've always been very proud that every year I've had a student, they've always gotten a scholarship. So hopefully I will get assigned to one of you if you do apply this next year. And we'll work you through the process, and we'll do everything we can to make sure that you have additional resources to be able to go on to college and further your education. So that's just a plug for our Rotary Scholarship Program, and again, we're very, very proud of it. So have a great day today. I think it's going to be very informative. Please take advantage, ask questions, come up to people during the breaks. And ask any of us questions of anything that you want to know about the city, about the general plan process, about being in Rotary, about what a Rotarian is, and the kind of work that we all do in the community. So We look forward to seeing you for the rest of the day. I will obviously be at our Rotary meeting, so have a great morning, and I will continue to work with you and see you throughout the day. So thanks for being here.
All right, before you guys get any more information, we want information from all of you. So I need everyone to take out their phone. And I need everyone to type in KAHOOT.IT. Staff, you can play, except for Tracy. Sheila can definitely play. For the record, everybody, students, listen up. Sheila smoked everyone last year. So I want to see if anyone can answer quicker than Sheila, okay? Kahoot, KAHOOT.IT. Game pin 4104709. And we have Nick, we have Tommy. Oh my. There's everybody. Okay, keep going, keep going. Let's see. Oh, boom, 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 boom. Waiting for a few more people. Alex, are you signed in? Jessica? Tracy's not allowed. Is Scott signed in? Is our deputy mayor playing? Okay. Yeah. I wonder who the boss is. You good to go? Good, 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 good. One more second. Okay. Ah, there it is. I see Deputy Mayor. I wonder who that can be. All right, you guys ready? Here we go. Question number 1. Are you ready? What grade are you in? So no points for this one. Let's just make sure everyone's works. So here we go. If you're not in a specific grade, just pick one for right now. All right. So looks like we have a lot of 12th graders, which is awesome. All right, who is the director of Parks and Recreation? Is it Shayla Carrington, Shirley Carrion, Sheila Kanzian, or I can't remember? Who is it? Hint, you literally just saw her 5 seconds ago. Great job, you guys. If you voted for Shayla Carrington, Shirley Carrion, I made those up, so I have no idea who those people are. Oh, good job, Alex. Tommy in 2nd, Lena in 3rd, Scotty in 4th, and Sanchita in 5th. Is that you, Scotty? All right, which park is this in? Let's see. Is it Coyote Point Park, Beresford Park, Ryder Park, or Central Park? That's right. It is Central Park. That would be awesome at Ryder. I can only imagine. Good job, Tommy. Scotty in 2nd. Okay. All right. I see a lot of staff names up here. So students, you can do it. Here we go. Who is this? Is it Rick Bonilla, Drew Corbett, Mike Callaghy, or just somebody important? That's right, it is Drew Corbett. Let's see, I'm just curious. Who put down Rick Bonilla for this one? Great, well, you'll see him later. Don't tell him you thought it was Drew. Okay. All right, Scotty just pulled into 1st. Good job, guys. Here we go. Next question. So this is a picture of Diane Pappin, and she is currently Not only is she sitting in the corner of this room, but who can it be? That's right, she was just introduced. So Diane, just to let you know, we also think you are the chief of police, the mayor, and the director of human resources. So that's awesome. All right, Alex is still in first, Scotty is 2, and Tommy is 3. What year was the San Mateo Municipal Golf Course, now Poplar Creek, built? Tricky. Not rebuilt, built initially, the first time. $1933. That is correct. 1933. If you don't believe me, go to the website. 1933. And Scotty's pulling in first. The boss is in second place. Alex G is in third. Tommy's in fourth, and Jess is in fifth.
All right, Thomas, we got this.
Thomas, you're yeah, good job. You're the one student up there right now. The Community Development Department includes Building Division, Code Enforcement, Neighborhood Improvement and Housing, and Planning Division. The answer is actually all 4. Trick question. Sorry, everyone. Good job. Most of you thought neighborhood improvement and housing. Interesting. All right, Scotty, the boss, Tommy, Alex G, and Sinchita. We're almost there, guys. Good job. Okay. What does CEQA stand for? City Employee Quantity Activities, City Environment Quality Accordance, California Employee Quick Act, or the California Environmental Quality Act? That's right. It is the California Environmental Quality Act. Yay. For the record, the other 3 I completely made up, so I'm really glad you guys thought they sounded legitimate. Scotty is still in first. The boss is still in second. Alex is still in third. All right, here we go. Moving down. In what year did the Spanish explorers come to San Mateo? Is it 1743, 1776, 1789, or 1791? A little bit of history. Waiting for one. 1776. Wow, that was pretty much all over the board. Awesome. Uh-oh. Scott's still in first, you guys. Come on, you got to take him off that first place. The following city is San Mateo's sister city. Toyonaka, Japan, Manila, Philippines, Beijing, China, or Dededo, Guam? That's right, it is Toyonaka, Japan. Scott is still in first place. Here we go. What was named after the only police sergeant that was killed in the line of duty? Is it Beresford Park, the King Pool, Trenta Park, or Joinville Pool? It was Joinville. Yeah. Scott is still in first. This is the blank Youth in Government Day. 79th, 80th, 81st, 82nd. It may or may not be in your folder or on top of it. So, Oh, yeah. That's right. You guys, it's on your folder. Oh, the boss gets fire points for answering so quickly. All right. How many fire stations are there in San Mateo? 3, 4, 5, or 6? It is 6. There is a lot. Scott, the boss, and Alex G are taking first, second, and third, you guys. When did the San Mateo Main Public Main Library open? 2006, 2007, 2008, or 2009? Yes, the one on 3rd Avenue. That's right, it was 2006. Correct. Right after I graduated high school. According to Public Works, how many pounds does one person in the city of San Mateo waste a day? Is it 0.8, 1.7, 2.7, or 3.9? Average. This doesn't mean you. Just everything added together divided by. Average. It's 3.9 pounds of waste. It's a lot. I wish it was 0.8. How long has the current San Mateo police chief been in their position? 16 years, 17 years, 18 years, or 19 years? I like how you guys are comparing answers. 18. That is right. 18. Scotty the boss and Alex G are still picking up first, second, and third. This park playground was designed by elementary school students. Washington Sunnybray, Beresford, Persimmon, or Trenta. It is Beresford. Great job, you guys. Scotty, the boss, and Alex G are still swooping up on 1, 2, and 3. The San Mateo City Council adopted the CAP in April of 2015. What does it stand for? Computer Assisted Purchasing, Climate Action Plan, Civil Air Patrol, or Combat Air Patrol? A lot of air patrols. And yes, that is Iron Man. That's right, it is the Climate Action Plan. Scotty the boss and Alex G are still in 1, 2, and 3. A few more questions, guys. What popular company was started here in San Mateo, California? Was it YouTube, GoPro, PlayStation, or Facebook? So if you answered YouTube or GoPro, those are both correct answers. So great job. YouTube and GoPro. How many city-owned pools are there in San Mateo? 1, 2, 3, or 4? Sesame Street. The faster you answer, the faster the song goes away. Oh. All right, the answer is 2. Do you guys know what those 2 pools are? Joinville and King. That is right. What is currently the most used phone app in the U.S.? The whole entire U.S., so not just California. Think of all the people that use a smartphone. Everybody all together. Is it Facebook, Google, Pandora, or Snapchat? Yes, it is actually Pandora is the #1 used app in the United States. Amazing. How many square miles is San Mateo? Is it 8.2, 20.7, 11.4, or 15.9? It is 15.9. That is right. When did City Council adopt the Heritage Tree Ordinance? 1968, 1972, 1995, or 2001? That's right, 1968. How many departments are there within the City of San Mateo? Is it 9, 10, 11, or 12? You're right. Last one. When was San Mateo incorporated? November 25th, 1782, February 18th, 1853, September 3rd, 1894, or April 27th, 1899. Last one. September 3rd, 1894. All right, let's see. So it looks like we have Scott, who took the gold, the boss, who took second, and Alex, who took third. And yes, he's now taking... Yeah, let's move past the staff. Let's see here. Hold on. Staff also took 4th and 5th, so hang on. I'm downloading it right now. Yeah. Thank you, Tanvi. It's downloading. Let's see who the #1 student was, 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. And the winners are, oh goodness. Oh, final scores. So in 1st place for students, we have Andrea. Woohoo! In 2nd place, we have Tommy. And in 3rd place, we have AMO. Oh, okay. Lena, you took 3rd. So congratulations. I'll give you guys your prizes later. Yeah. All right. Thank you guys very much for playing. I hope you guys learned something, and we also got to document what you guys know of San Mateo. I would like to now turn it over to Drew, the one in that photo that you guys saw from question number 3.
It's good to see everyone today. I'm excited to have you here. This is a great day. You guys are going to have a lot of fun today. I'm excited for you because I love my job so much, right? And I'm excited about working for the City of San Mateo. And I hope that once you get to see the inner workings of the city, you'll be excited about the city where you go to school, the city where you likely live. And hopefully we'll consider, as you move forward, considering local government as a career, right? So I think I walked in late, but I hear that my picture was up, right? Did anyone, how many people got that one right? Not many? I'll go back and watch the tape. My name's Drew Corbett. I am the Assistant City Manager and Finance Director as of today. In December, I will be taking over as the city's City Manager. So I'm excited about that. Like I said, this is a great organization, a wonderful city, and it is just a pleasure to see everyone here. Have you guys gone through the overview of today? A little bit? Yes. Okay. All right. So, anyways, I am definitely looking forward to seeing you guys throughout the day. I'll be at the lunch at the Rotary Club this afternoon. That's also a very exciting event. And I am not going to talk much longer because I am not exciting. I'm going to turn it over.
All right. Well, welcome. I think I'm going to start off with a little bit of the structure of how the city works, because that might come into play a little bit in your topic that you addressed today. I want to talk a little bit about the general plan, and then finally just a little bit about me and how I got into politics, or maybe I'll start with that, because it is all about me, right? So what's my name? And I have a last name? Papin. Good. So just so you know, it used to be Papandreou. Drew is also married to Greek. Papandreou, 16 letters. My dad shortened it to Papin. So lucky for you, it's only 5 letters. My sister always goes, oh my God, we never would have gotten out of kindergarten. We couldn't spell our name. But we made it, and here I am. So my personal background is I'm an attorney. I do commercial litigation by trade. I run a nonprofit that provides new clothes to needy school-age kids in northern San Mateo County. What else do? I run a scholarship program. Sheila. I also run a scholarship program, so there you have it. I'm raising my husband, and I have a child. And she's 13, she's at Burrell. So, and I love my dog. My dog's name is Juno, just so you know. If you ever see me on the street with my dog, you'll know. Anyway, those are the pertinent stats of Diane Papin. I grew up in San Mateo County. I went to Cappuccino High School, go Mustangs. Okay, whatever, can't win them all, I know. I went to UCLA undergrad, and then I went to Hastings, University of California, Hastings in San Francisco for law school. And I've been practicing law for a lot of years. And I actually was not going to be here because I got called for jury duty. But the way the jury duty works is you call in, and they say, yeah, we need you, or yeah, we don't need you. Or the third one is you're on call, and I have to call back at 11:15, and I may have to go to jury duty. So anyway, that's the story there. So I ran for city council in 2015. The way that it works is we have 5 council members that sit up there. That's my chair over there, but it rotates every year. And the mayorship rotates as well. So this year I'm deputy mayor, and if I play my cards right, we'll vote in December, and I'll be the mayor for next year. And but each person has 1 vote. And obviously you need to have a majority in order to get something done, which means I got to make sure that there's 3 votes if there's something that I'm passionate about. And I will talk about the Brown Act in a minute, because that sort of complicates your ability to get the necessary votes that you need. But first I want to talk about the structure of government. So it is that we are elected, and the electeds, of course, represent our residents. And we have to go to the voters every 4 years to be reelected, and we can be elected a maximum of 3 terms, 12 years. So we're ultimately responsible to our residents. And then when we get elected, what happens is we set sort of a series of goals that we would like staff to enact. And how many people work for the city? 600? Yeah, about 600 people work for the city. That could be police, it can be fire, it can be planning, it can be public works, it can be park and rec. How can I get for park and rec? The library. There are many, many departments that serve you every day. So that's sort of how it works. The electeds, if they aren't responsive to the residents, they get thrown out. New people come in, they set new priorities, and again, staff carries those out. And there's a lot of priorities that carry over from year to year to year. One of the biggest things going on in our city right now is, well, let me ask you this. How many of you flushed a toilet this morning? Don't be shy. Well, let me tell you something. That toilet works, and it goes somewhere because of your city and your city government. And we are in the midst of replacing our wastewater treatment plant. And it is the replacement and some other projects that go along with it will cost us $1 billion, which is a huge, huge undertaking. And Drew, who is not only our assistant city manager and our finance director, and in December will become our city manager, has been working on trying to raise the funds for us to get enough money to build this wastewater treatment plant so that you and I can continue to flush our toilet every morning and not pollute the bay. So it's a huge project. It's a lot for a city to undertake, and we will ultimately have this project done with the city of Foster City that also uses our wastewater treatment plant, part of Hillsborough does, and part of unincorporated San Mateo County. So it's a big deal. But the reason why I love city government is because our services are so immediate. Like, we can all watch Trump be a goofball and we can wonder what the heck Congress is doing. But I'm telling you, what happens in this chamber affects your life every day. If you run on a road today, it was because that road was paved, more than likely, by your city. El Camino is the state road. But nonetheless, I'm sure you were on a surface street at some point today. And if it had a pothole, call me, because that's what we're here for. If you went to the public library, that's your city. If you did a park and rec program when you were a kid, or even now, or even as a young adult, that's because your city provided that service. It is very immediate municipal government. That's why I love it, because it's like what we do really affects people's lives. So in any event, it's cool beans, cool stuff. So you're going to talk about the general plan later on today. And let me tell you, that is a big brouhaha in this city right now. And we had these chambers packed when it came to the procedure of the, were you here? You're nodding your head. Oh my gosh, it was brutal. Because there's a lot of tension in the city right now. And some of you might be familiar with this, you might not be, I don't know. But you will be when you're young adults and you want to maybe come back to this area. It's very expensive to live here, as we know, right? I'm sure you've either heard your parents talk about it, or you know people that can't find housing. So for us, it's going to be, in the general plan, we ask ourselves, what type of a community do you want to be? Do you want to still be suburbia? Do you want to have startups in your city? And do you want to have housing for the people who are going to work at those startups, which are usually, young people like you who will either, stay here and work for those companies, go off to college and come back and work for those companies? What kind of city do we need to be? So there's this constant tension between people that have lived here and want it to remain very suburban and very, sort of idyllic. And they came here for a reason. They didn't want to live in San Francisco. They didn't want to live in something that was, pretty crowded. And I have seniors who will say, now I have to even plan what time I'm going to drive up El Camino because there's going to be so much traffic. And I didn't move here for that. And I don't want you in the general plan to say we're going to have more housing. Enough is enough. We've already done enough. And furthermore, if we have housing, what kind of housing should we have? Should it be single-family residence? Should it be buildings that are just 2 stories tall, 3 stories tall, 8 stories tall? Like, which is it? And that's a big deal in the general plan. I think Julia may tell you, I don't want to steal your thunder, but part of that is right now we have, throughout our city, you can't build higher than. Anybody know? This should have been on the test, because I then would have come in third. I know it. You can't build higher than 5 stories. So, and anything that is higher than 5 stories was built prior to the time that law came into effect. Now, the big issue in our city is that law is about to expire. And there are a lot of people that are like, oh, no. We're going to put something else on the ballot and keep it in place until 2030. We still don't want anything higher than 5 stories. And then there are other people that say, well, we don't want higher than 5 stories throughout the entire city, right? Because we have a lot of single-family homes, and you're not going to put an 8-story building right next to your house. But there might be some room for a few higher buildings, because we have a housing shortage, remember? And what is the reason that housing is so expensive? Is because we have a housing shortage. So we have people screaming at us every day, my God, we need more housing. So is there a place for some higher buildings for a little more housing? Well, some people say, where do you think that could fit? Anybody? Before you hear the answer from me? Because I could have put this on the test too. And then I might have moved into 4th place. Yeah. Along the transit corridor, so along where Caltrain is. Because when you add higher housing, but you have a way to transport the people that are going to live in that higher housing, presumably it has a little less impact on traffic. So a lot of people don't want higher housing because they're like, oh, it would bring more traffic. So then you say, okay, well, can you allow a little more dense and higher housing along the transit corridor? So maybe when you're done with college and you're going to be working for some tech company and you want to, commute to Google and Mountain View, you'll just hop on the train. and you won't get on 101, and you won't get on El Camino. And so maybe that's a way of doing it. But again, we have people that have lived here forever, and they don't want to see a change. And then we have people that are like, let's get some more housing. We have to house our people. So that's the tension that's coming in the general plan. Do we continue that restriction or not? And Julia, I probably have teed it up, but that's okay. It'll be a little shorter later. But this is something then that will come to the city council, and the city council has to grapple with it if it doesn't go to the ballot. So that's a whole nother issue. There's this group of residents that want to take it to the ballot. They don't trust the city council. I'm like, what did I ever do? But that's, I don't get it. And I'm fine with that. It's okay with that. But I'd like to see the general plan process play out. And you'll learn about what the general plan process is, because I feel this is really complex. Look, it just took me 8 minutes to describe the problem. Now, do you think when you go to the ballot box, you're even going to spend the 8 minutes to know what does a measure say, where should we restrict heights and densities or not? No, I feel it's really complex. So my thing is, I'd like to see it happen in the general plan processes, which is what you guys are going to mimic today. And so, but you're certainly, it is not that because you are lower than voting age, your voice does not count. We need to hear from all demographics about what they want to see in this city. How many people have lived in this city longer than 5 years? Okay, quite a few. Most of you. Okay. So you certainly have a vested interest. You've been here, you know what it's like, you know that it might change, and you have a vested interest in how it might change. So I welcome your input, I really do, because really this is a plan for 2040. It's a plan for your future. In 2040, I might still be here if I play my cards right. Good, clean, healthy living. But so it is important, and it really is about your future more than anything, and what kind of city do you really want to see. And we do want to hear from you. And so that's it. Being on the city council is about listening to your residents. My philosophy about governing is I don't really want to, I didn't get elected because I think I have all the best ideas, and oh my gosh, it should be whatever Diane Pappin's ever believed in. That ain't the way it works, for me anyway. Everybody has a different philosophy about serving. So for me, I'll share my philosophy with you, and you can take it for what it's worth. But I feel that in serving and having the privilege of serving, what I look at it as though there might be disparate points of view, meaning differing points of view. And so what I try to do is I try to build some consensus. Like, where's a middle ground? And sometimes it is difficult to find that middle ground, but I work very hard to try to kind of find the middle ground on an issue, and then I lead like hell. So it's always, do you lead or represent? Do you lead or represent? Well, for me, I think there's representation until you find the common ground, and then you really fight for that common ground, because this community belongs to all of us, not one side or another. So that's my philosophy on it, and it's served me fairly well so far. Nobody's ready to throw me out just yet. That's it. Any questions? Anybody interested? Oh, let me ask you this. What are your interests? Why are you here today? Anybody want to volunteer? You're front and center. What's the reason you came today, sir?
Tell me your name. My name is Thomas.
And last name?
Lee.
Okay.
I was interested in learning more about the government, so.
Are you going to vote when you turn voting age? Will you be able to vote? Yeah. Will you vote early and often?
I'll try to.
Often is a little illegal, but that's okay. Go for it. All right, young lady, tell us why you came today. You can't use his answer, so you got to have another one. And tell me your name, first and last name.
Okay. My name is Martinez, Vera, and I came to have my voice be heard, I guess, have my input be heard for the youth.
Excellent. Excellent. This is a good answer. We won't copyright that. All right, go. Tell me your first and last name. I won't go all the way down the line, so you might be off the hook. First and last name while you're here.
My name is Cochise Sandoval, and as Thomas said, I want to learn.
Oh, no, you can't repeat.
To mine. I'm going to add to mine. I want to learn more about the government as well. I'm really interested in either going into city politics or just like in general any form of public works I can do in the future.
Excellent, excellent. So do you want to work at the wastewater treatment plant? You said public works. No. Katya, that's not your thing. Okay. All right, I'm coming to, you look eager. First and last name while you're here today. Sir.
I'm Benjy with Op.
Hey.
I don't know, I just think politics is pretty cool and free food.
Free food. I appreciate your honesty. I really, really do. Because I'm all about the food, too. So, Sheila, you better not disappoint. Okay. May I ask your first and last name while you're here today?
Hi, I'm Layla Tamale, and I'm here because I think that we can all see that the political landscape is going through a revolution, and I want to be a part of that.
The revolution. That's a very strong word. I think they use that in Hamilton. Anybody know the words from Hamilton? It's used a lot in the music. Okay, may I ask your first and last name?
I'm Jemre Gonin, and I'm here because I'm very interested in politics, and I guess I just wanted to know more about government and like ways to get involved.
Excellent, excellent. And this is a great place to start, for sure. For sure. Don't pay attention to CNN. It's all happening right here in this very chamber. May I ask your first and last name?
I'm Sanchita Kanabaran, and I came to learn more about San Mateo because I've been here for quite a while and I still don't know more about its government, so that's why I came.
Excellent. And we're working for you every day, I promise. Your tax dollars are at work. First and last name?
Chloe Van Boris. I came here to give my input and have my voice heard on like issues in San Mateo and just to learn more in general.
How long have you lived here?
I live in Burlingame actually. But
Oh, wow. Jeez. Do you live on like the Burlingame San Mateo border at a minimum?
yeah,
Okay. So that's why you care about San Mateo?
San Mateo High School. So
Excellent. Okay, then you count if you go to San Mateo High School. Excellent. Sir?
I'm Nick Lockery. One day I want to be a congressman, and I got to start somewhere. So.
Oh, no. This is where it happens. You're missing the gist of it. Nick, you have failed, but I wish you well in your endeavors. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Good for you. Excellent. Okay, let me go to you. Wait, first and last name.
Hi, my name is Tanvi Naik. I came here because I think it's really important to know what's going to happen in your city because it's going to impact you anyways, so like y'all better know what's going on.
Apparently she passed the class, Nick. You, however. Excellent. That's the answer I wanted to hear. You did great. You better go back to Sarah and get your money back. Okay, sir.
My name is Calvin Hodges, and I came here to learn more about local government.
Calvin, you won't be disappointed. It'll be a great day. All right, who wants to volunteer before I come to them? Then I'm coming to them. I like it. You volunteered. Volunteering will get you extra bonus points, won't it? I heard you get seconds on food if you volunteer. Okay, first and last name.
My name is Jonah, and I'm here because I want to get involved, and I don't want to wait until I'm 18, which seems so far away to do something.
Great. So learning about the structure is certainly important. That'll get you on your way. So you'll be ready when you're 18. Young lady, first and last name.
My name's Isabella Murray, and I don't really know anything about the local government at all, so I thought this would be a good place to learn stuff about it.
You have come to the right place. And we won't even charge you. How about you?
Hi, I'm Krista Hung, and I'm here today because I think that as a part of the community, you should be involved with the city, and this is a great place to like communicate with the city members.
Totally agree.
I'm on Rachel Hall, and I wanted to apply my insight, and I don't feel like there needs to be an age for, I don't need to be 18 to give my input, kind of like what you had mentioned. Yeah.
Excellent. I agree. I totally agree. Who have I missed now that Nick failed? Oh, I did have to come back to you, and I got to get to her too. First and last name?
My name is Lena Hammock, and I came, the three people in front of me kind of stole my thunder because they all said what I had to say, but I'm interested in politics and government, and I want to be active and aware of what's going on in my life.
Oh, totally agree. Active and aware for the rest of your life, too. Because you know what happens is, it's kind of funny, I find that a lot of my contemporaries, people my age who have kids, you know, like they go to their kids' soccer game, and they're really not aware of like what's happening in the city, yet like our rebuilding our wastewater treatment plant will be for our children. It is one of the things that we can do for tomorrow for our children. And so it is a lifelong commitment to be aware of what's happening politically. Good morning. First and last name.
I'm Blanca, and I came here today because my teacher recommended it as I'm interested in social justice. So I just feel like we need more women of color in political places.
Excellent. Okay. This lady, she looks like a student, but she's not. You will hear from her later. Are you going to speak later? Emran? Oh, okay. Well, you need to, this lady can move mountains, so you need to please introduce yourself and tell them what you're currently doing for the city and what you did over at the King Center, okay? I'm going to leave you the mic for a second.
Oh, okay.
Because it'll take a second.
Full
You want to
pass
come up?
off. Sure.
All right, come up.
Thank you.
This lady can move mountains. That's all I got to say. Okay, I'm on.
Morning, everyone. I'm Emran Slee, and I moved to San Mateo in 2009. I have 2 kids. I'm just a regular person like everybody else in this room, and I share all of your curiosity and commitment to being active and involved and informed about my community. And so Diane talked a lot about how a lot of the national level issues feel very urgent and scary sometimes, but it's hard to feel the impact of what you're doing. And so where I got involved in local government was really just how can I use my time to make the most impact to directly affect what's happening now and what's happening for my kids. So I became involved in my neighborhood association. I lived in North Central San Mateo. Does anyone live in North Central? Okay. North Central is an important community for us because it's like the oldest neighborhood in the entire city. We also have the most socioeconomic diversity. We have the most number of people who are on Social Security and social benefits. We have the largest number of Latinos and undocumented folks. We have amazing resources in our community, and there's a lot of community need in North Central. And so one of the issues that we became involved in the neighborhood association, and by the way, the neighborhood association is a really great entry point for a youth like yourself. If you go to a neighborhood association, I guarantee you there will be nobody over or under 18 years old, like nobody. So that's one of the ways that you all can get really deeply involved in not just the city level politics, but what's going on in your individual neighborhood. And so I encourage you to look into that channel because there needs to be youth voices in that avenue. So in North Central San Mateo, one of the issues that we have among the equity issues and resource issues about how our city resources are spent, we also have a really serious problem with littering and dumping. Littering and dumping in North Central is it's an environmental issue, it's a health issue, it's a community pride issue. It's a way that really degrades people's experience of your own community when you're walking down the street and there's a giant mattress right in your way, or broken down furniture, or litter in the creeks that actually flow out into the bay. And so this was one of those things that is affecting everybody. It's a small thing, but it's like a daily kind of, it's a daily like drag. Yeah, it's so depressing. And so we got together with the city, which was incredibly supportive, and we said we want to do something, and it really was just started with an idea and taking the first step, and that's how anything starts. You have an idea and you take a first step. And what's amazing about this city is that you can come to the city with ideas and they will support you. And so we came to the city, we said we wanted everyone in North Central to take a pledge that we will clean up our streets and that we'll end this littering and dumping problem. And neighbors went to neighbors and said, I'm taking this pledge, will you join me? And the city, they just embraced this idea, and they committed tremendous amount of time and resources and staff to support a large-scale event that drew over almost 400 people. So we had an entire day. We picked up 15 cubic yards of trash. We identified 18 sites, dumping sites that were cleaned up. We picked up 5 pounds of cigarettes. That's just one day in one neighborhood. And it all started with just, I don't want to do this. I don't want to live with this anymore.
Making a difference. My daughter and I were out there with the cigarette butts.
Yes, we had so much support, and
But
so
in any event, I know we've got the next speaker, so I don't want to, but this is one person making a difference. This lady can move mountains. I know I've said it 3 times, and you're on a commission now.
And I am on the commission. I'm on the Parks and Rec Commission, and I'm also serving in the General Plan Update Subcommittee. And so I'm just one regular person, just doing what I can, bringing ideas and taking the first step. And a lot of times that's all it takes, and people want to join you.
Amarantz, you're the best. You're the best. Yeah, please, give it up for her. So I'm going to turn it back over to Christine. It was lovely to meet all of you. Have a phenomenal day, now that we all know why you're here. Do you want to redeem yourself? Nick, you look like you want to redeem yourself. Okay, hold on. All right, I'm with you, brother. Go.
I'm just gonna explain why.
Okay.
There's our government is so screwed up, and they're not leaders anymore. And I think we need people that are young people that are gonna be willing to go up to the next level and actually want to represent the people with our ideas and come together instead of continually divide each other.
A noble cause indeed.
Get into the belly of the beast, you know.
That's right. Get in the belly of the beast. I like it. Okay, that'll work. But can you define young?
Young?
Like youngish, right?
Yeah, youngish.
Am I working for you? Okay.
I'll give it to you.
Okay. Excellent. No, noble cause indeed, and I agree. Get in the belly of the beast. I like it. Okay. Without further ado, I'm sorry I took up a little bit of your.
All right, let's give Diane a big round of applause. Wasn't that great? All right, so good morning. My name is Bruce Bean. I am here to give you a Stanford 10-week course in the next 10 minutes. So strap on your seatbelt and let's go. All right, we're going to all learn about public speaking. So we'll get the PowerPoint going here in just a minute. But Diane just provided you an opportunity to speak in public. This was a great public speaking opportunity. It was what we call at the Stanford class the impromptu. So you were able to do a little impromptu speaking here very quickly. So all of you used a toilet this morning. Did you all use your voices this morning? Okay, so even for those of you that do not think you're going to be ever doing public speaking, I know Nick is expecting to, so he's going to pay very close attention, our soon-to-be congressman. So, but the rest of you may be thinking, oh, I do not like public speaking. I do not like getting in front of an audience. Jim Ray likes getting in front of an audience. She was at Rotary the other day, and she led was it the Pledge of Allegiance for us? Yeah, that was wonderful. We had a great time. So public speaking, this 10-week course that I'm going to give you in the next 10 minutes, you can use in everything. Most of all, you can use it in romance. Now, I know none of you are very interested in that. You're, high school students? Nobody's interested in romance. But let me tell you that the next 10 minutes might be very valuable for you. So you're going to engage your audience. We can go to the next slide. We're going to engage your audience, court your crowd, and speak successfully in public. Now, this may be an audience of one if you're out on a date, or this could be an audience like we have today, or some of you are going to be speaking to the Rotary Club today, and that will be an audience of like 60 people. So here we go. So next slide, please. So it's a 10-week course. The biggest thing is romance anxiety. We're going to talk about that. And then romance is everywhere, in everything you do. So you can use this in whatever comes up. So there's, next slide. There's an art to public speaking. Nick is going to get into the art of public speaking. But there is a science to public speaking. There's a skill to public speaking. So you can start with that. You can start from the base. You learn what your speech purpose is going to be, what your topic's going to be, what you understand. Then you can go up to your actual presentation. The biggest thing about your presentation is you need to practice, practice, practice. Now today, I know you're going to not have much time to practice, but if you can practice a little bit on the way over in the bus or something, practice your speech if you can. And then you'll become an excellent, effective public speaker. So next slide, please. The key to public speaking, as I just said, is preparation. But the next thing is just to breathe. Just take a breath. Just calm down. Are any of you familiar with Amy Cuddy? Does that name ring a bell with you? She's on TED Talks, and she talks about the power pose. So if you're having some anxiety, get up there, and just as you're in the wings getting ready, stand like this. Just for a minute, maybe 2 minutes. Go ahead. Yeah, stand like this. There we go. All right. Demonstration. There we go. There we go. You can have the power woman pose too. You can go for this pose too. What this does, physiologically, it drains the cortisol out of your system and puts the endorphins into your system. So you're going to feel a lot better. It's a physiological thing. It'll calm you down. So then the third thing is just ungrade yourself. I know you're very concerned about what people are thinking about you, but just let that go for a minute. Just forget about it. And then engage your audience. Make sure you make eye contact. All right. Next slide, please. Now, most people think of public speaking as me talking to the audience or you talking to the audience, but really there are three factors in public speaking. There's the sender, there's you. There's the message, which is the content that you're presenting, and then there's the receiver. People forget about the receiver. Now, I've adapted this 10-week course to the 10-minute presentation because that's the audience I'm talking to. So you have to understand your audience. That's the first key. The ABC of public speaking is audience before content. So understand your audience first. All right, next slide. There are basically three types of public speaking. There is information. That's what I'm doing today. I'm giving you information. I'm also maybe trying to persuade you a little bit. Nick is going to try and persuade you a lot as a congressman. And then there's entertainment. Now, all three of these wrap together. So ideally, you want to put some good information with a little bit of persuasion and some entertainment all together. So the entertainment this morning was, how many times have you flushed your toilet today? I thought that was very entertaining. So next, please. So here's your test for today. Diane gave you some tests, so here's your public speaking test. These are the 5 imperatives, and then there's going to be one umbrella over that. So I want you to think about these 5 imperatives. You can write these down if you want. So the first one is you're on a blind date. So what do you do in a blind date? You try and make a good first impression. First impressions, people, I know it's awful, but people will judge you within the first 10 seconds. It's a fact. Unfortunate fact. So you want to get up there and make sure you make a great first impression when you get there, all right? So then the second one is to romance with your eyes. Make eye contact. Make sure you see them. Don't be kind of creepy and look, right at somebody for too long, but just make sure you make good eye contact, people. Some people are writing very hard and they're being very diligent, and so you want to kind of stop and make sure that you make contact with them, all right? You get good eye contact. And, I know there's this public speaking thing where you kind of do an S-curve over the crowd, but really, let's try and actually see eyeball to eyeball. That's when you're making true communication. All right? Apologize not. I know some of you today will want to get up there this morning or this afternoon and say, we didn't have much time to put this together. We tried to put some information together. I'm not a good public speaker. You're going to make all these potential apologies for what you're doing. Well, how many of you have gotten a gift from a person and the first thing they say is, there's a receipt in the box. If you don't like it, you can take it back. I mean, that's what you're doing by apologizing. You're basically downgrading yourself right off the bat. So just get up there, say who you are, make your presentation, and have an introduction, 3 or 4 main points, and a conclusion. We're going to give you 5 minutes to make your presentation. All right, so we're up to number 4, variety. Variety is the spice of life. So use variety of your voice. Talk loud, talk a little quieter, talk fast, talk slow. Do a little variety that way. Use some interesting examples. Use some great stories. We had a great story today about the north central San Mateo. So that was a fantastic story. We all heard that. Use variety in your speech. And then the fifth and most critical imperative is end early. So if you're given 10 minutes, try and go 9 minutes. If you're given, we're going to give you 10 minutes today, so try and go 9.5 minutes if you can, and then we're going to give you 5 minutes for Q&A. All right? Oh, no, what did I say? We're going to give you 5 minutes, and then you're going to have 5 minutes for Q&A. All right? And then, so this spells BRAVE. This is an acronym you can remember. Blind date, romance with your eyes, apologize not, variety is the spice of life, and end early. And over all that is the umbrella, the big umbrella. What are the first two letters of umbrella? Right? So take out all those filler words, the ums, the and-ums, the so's, the likes. Take those all out. Nick is going to be incredibly smarter. He's going to appear much smarter if he takes out all those filler words. You also. That is one reason, interesting fact, that's one reason why the people that come from Britain tend to appear more intelligent than Americans, because they have less filler words in their conversation. It's as simple as that. They aren't necessarily any smarter than we are. They just sound smarter. All right? So let's go. So let's take we're going to take 2 minutes here, and we're going to have you actually do a speech here. So I want you to just mix it up a little bit. I want you to find somebody you don't know, and I want you to just basically do what Diana did. Say, my name is so-and-so. I'm Bruce Bean. I went to Boulder High School in Boulder, Colorado. I'm here today because I love Youth in Government Day. So that's all we're going to do. So find somebody you don't know, introduce yourself. We'll do 45 seconds for one person and 45 seconds for the next one. Go.
I really want to see more diversity.
All right, good work. Let's go ahead and sit back down. Oh, shoot. So are you going to use PowerPoint today? Did we decide that? Yes? Yes, we're going to use PowerPoint. Okay, I have the 10 commandments for PowerPoint, but in the interest of time, we're going to give you the 3 commandments of PowerPoint. So this will give you the ability to avoid death by PowerPoint. How many of you suffered death by PowerPoint? Come on, all of you have. Oh, Sheila has. Everybody has. So, all right. So let's avoid death by PowerPoint. The simple way to avoid that is 1, use only 10 words per slide, less if you can. So just bullet points. You want them to hear you and not see the PowerPoint slide. So use a lot of photographs, use less words, okay? 10 words per slide at the most. Do not try and read your PowerPoint. I know this is going to be hard because you're going to be doing this. Here's the number 2 violation is to sit here like this and read the words. Warning, do not read. All right? Warning, do not read. And then, of course, the third one is what I just did, which is to turn your back on the audience. So, one more, please. All right, so just avoid turning your back on the audience if you can. That's why I brought my own laptop up here so I could look at it versus turning around and looking at the screen. All right, so that's going to end it for today. One more slide. Just as I said, how many of you think you're going to do the presentations today? Nick would like to. Jim Ray might. All right, so we'll pick out those. So for those of you that are going to give the presentation, we're going to give you 5 minutes to make your presentation. So do an intro, 3 or 4 points that you want to make. Your intro will include your thesis. It'll be 10% of your five-minute speech, so no more than 50 seconds. And then you're going to make your main points, and then you're going to have your conclusion. Then you're going to get your applause after your conclusion. Get your applause, get your round of applause, and then say, are there any questions? And then if you're really smart, Nick and Jim Ray are going to pay very close attention here. You're going to say, okay, we'll give you one last question, and in that last question, you're going to have a second conclusion. All right? Got it? All right. Thank you very much. Appreciate your time. We'll see you at noon. I will be there as the president of Rotary. Thank you. Bye.
So thank you for being here. I am a consultant. I have worked in local government as a community development director, a planner, public works director. I used to work in Colorado where one of the departments is called Road and Bridge, because when spring comes, that's everything you have to do is replace roads and bridges. So I've got a long 30 years of experience in local government, and my role now is to help cities like San Mateo who are going through these multi-year, complex, difficult processes about planning for the future to really get it right. And a big part of that is hearing from everybody in the community, including our young people. So thank you for being here. So I'm just going to tell you these things, what a general plan is, and how the vision statement which we're working on today fits into that, and how the work you do today will kind of mesh with what the adults are going to start doing in the next few weeks also. So a general plan is the constitution for the city. It basically says, here's where things are going to go in the landscape. Here's how we're going to work on making sure that our community has the services it needs. Here's what we're going to do to support education and training and jobs and housing. It basically is a requirement for every city in California and every county in California. And you may know there's 400 plus cities and 49 counties, so there are a lot of general plans, but they're all different. And they're all different in that they're unique to the city that they serve. And San Mateo's currently is the same, and the new update will be the same. So general plans have been in place for about 50 years, and they get updated about every 10 years. So you're I think, very fortunate to be in the point of the cycle where you're learning a lot about government and how it works, and you're going to get a chance to be a part of how you shape the city in the next 20 years or so. Each general plan has a series of what are called elements. These are really the chapters. They're required by state law to cover certain items, but they don't have to be called these same names, and they don't have to all be situated in the same place. A general plan is basically made up of policy statements. These are things the city council is going to determine, but they say, these are the kinds of things we want our city to be like. And what you're going to do today in your vision statement is say, these are the kinds of things I want to see San Mateo become like over the next 20 years. And I'm going to remind you when we get into the meeting room, what I really want to challenge you with today is think about what you think is going to be best for you, and then expand that to the whole community. What do you think is going to be best for others? Old people, young people, people of different socioeconomic status, people with different abilities or disabilities. And so it's okay to be selfish and think about the San Mateo I want in 2040, but also think about what would be best for everybody. Okay, sorry about the more than 10 words per slide. There may not be more than 10 words per line, though. This just tells you about what the goals are of a general plan, and this is what the City Council have decided are the objectives for this general plan update. Kind of the mantra on the peninsula, and especially San Mateo, is traffic is bad and housing is expensive. And those two issues that we see every day, whether we're walking and trying to get across the street or going in the car to get somewhere, or learning about how difficult it is for people to find housing, those things affect everything we do. They're not the only two issues that we face, but you see them every day. And so you can start thinking about the general plan is actually a place where the city can start to tackle some of those problems and figure out how are we going to do things differently so we don't have these issues persisting like they do in the future. Hang on a sec. So the list at the bottom just shows you how much the city is working on that relates to the general plan. So a lot of what happens in local government is not just thinking about these problems, but really trying to address them. And so that can come into things you see every day, like people fixing water lines and sewer lines or telephone lines. That's an interesting idea, telephone line, right? Very few of us are can actually need the lines anymore, but they still exist, and they exist for Wi-Fi and broadband and things like that used at home. But the point is, It's not just the general plan that addresses these issues. There's a lot going on, but the general plan is a place where you can collect the information about all the city efforts and make sure they're consistent with each other. Because one of the most important and difficult things in government is to make sure that there's a lot of people working on a lot of things at the city, and we want them all to be talking to each other and making sure we're all going in the same direction at the same time. Next slide. So you guys are here today, starting not this weekend, but next weekend, and you're welcome to come, but a larger group, probably primarily adults, will be meeting on the weekend on Saturday in 2 different places. Central Park in the morning.
Saturday, November 3rd from 10 to noon. Bring your families, bring your friends. And then at 2:30 p.m. at Hillsdale High School in the cafeteria.
So I'd love to see you at one or both of those, because I think what you'll see is the work you do today will actually be part of the information that those larger groups get. And so your ideas will start to inform them. And I think you guys will come up with some really interesting things today that will help the groups at the 2 meetings on Saturday, November 3rd kind of take the next steps. And then in December, we're going to come back to our general plan subcommittee. You might have heard Emran say she's not just a parks commissioner, she's also on this general plan subcommittee, which is made up of 7 people, including 2 council members appointed by the city council, who are they're kind of like a steering committee. So they're looking at the information you guys are going to provide today, and these 2 workshops will, not this weekend, but next weekend, and then they comment on, what do we see here? Do we like these ideas? Are there things we would offer in addition? And then that goes to the Planning Commission, and you're probably aware from your local government studies. Planning Commission then is a body that's responsible for advising the City Council on should we do something or should we not, as it relates to planning in the city, land use activities in particular. So November 3rd, the 2 Saturday workshops. December 17th, if you want to come see local government in action in a unique way that's custom to San Mateo. Many general plans have committees that help the Planning Commission and City Council think about these ideas. The one in San Mateo is really a unique situation where it's drawn from folks who are on different commissions that are already serving for the city. So it's a really kind of powerful thing to watch, because these are folks that know a lot about the city, a lot about what's going on, and they jump right into, okay, here's what we think would make sense to do. So those are the next steps. And then, including today's workshop, there are a bunch of ways to get involved. For you, family, friends, anybody you know, we're going to do a double-decker bus tour, which just in and of itself is super fun, but you also see the city in a whole different way. When you're sitting on top of a tall bus, all of a sudden you see how intersections work and crosswalks, and how the driveway at the school maybe isn't in the place you would plan it if you were doing it, just as one very minor example. And I'm not thinking of any school in particular, it's come up before. We're going to have open houses where you can come and learn about what we've heard so far. You will see the work you've done today. We'll keep showing up over the next year and a half, and you'll see how it's helped inform the process. We're going to have pop-up events. Come to people where they already are playing soccer or eating food or listening to music, which is a really good way to get out. And you see people where they're already going to be, and you're not forcing them to come to talk about the general plan or to talk about city government. We're going to use social media, of course. And if you, in addition to the general plan subcommittee, if you really want to see how these processes work, come to a planning commission meeting or come to a city council meeting, either during the process or also at the end when you can see what the final decisions are. Here's our website, Strive San Mateo. Please visit it. There's a bunch of ways to get involved. The right-hand side shows you. You can upload photos and say what you like. You can describe San Mateo in a word. We've got word walls that are constantly being populated. We update it, I think, once a week. You can, the bottom left thing, on the right side, the bottom left in the 3 green bars, it's similar to what you're going to do today. We're going to look at statements and ideas about San Mateo, and you can go in online and you can move them up and down, and you can say, I think actually having a dog park is more important than fixing traffic, and you could move that to the top if that was your idea. You can tell us about yourself, and you can see what other people have said. So it's a really powerful tool on the website. You not only get to put your voice into it, but you can also see what your friends and others are saying. So we talked about traffic, we talked about housing. The other issue that's driving both of these, you probably are well aware, is job creation on the peninsula. We've got a lot of companies that are very strong and are growing. These are good jobs. People are trying to get to the peninsula every day from further away than just within the city, as far away as the Central Valley and south of San Jose. That's what creates traffic. That's what makes housing expensive. But we don't want to just shut that off, right? This is great. It's great to have companies that produce sales tax revenue for the city so the city can provide services. It's great to have good jobs that make it possible for youth in our community to be able to stay in San Mateo and work in meaningful employment. So it's not as simple as we just need to solve traffic and that's it. There are things working together that create the situation we're in now. So we get to where we are in the process now. So right now what we're doing is establishing something called the vision statement. Our current general plan has one. This new updated plan will have one. And what the vision statement is really about is, what do I think my community, San Mateo, should be like in 2040? And you can dream big. There's no limit. And just because you see something that's there today doesn't mean that that's what you would have to have in the future. And again, when we go into the two rooms and put our posters together, really think about, okay, it's okay, what's best for me, but what do I really want to see change? Like, one of the biggest issues I face in working all around California and the Bay Area is homelessness. And it seems like an insolvable problem, but you have to chip away at these things a little bit at a time. So I'm often thinking in communities, like, how do we reach folks that might be able to move into housing if we just had a little bit less expensive housing or a little bit different kind of housing? And I don't know if you guys have seen in Oakland and other places, they've taken tough sheds like the garden sheds and just put them out in parking lots, and people are starting to live in them. And it's just a way to get people out of their homelessness situation into something before we can find a better solution. So really think big. Think about the least advantaged people in the community. Think about folks that need the most help. Think about what you want your city to be like. And this vision statement is very important because over the next year and a half, as the city council starts looking at policies which will drive the decision making at the city and the actions that are necessary to do that, like which street is going to get cleaned up or which street is going to get rebuilt, or where are we going to work on our parks, or where are we going to work on the shoreline, this vision statement will help as a guide for the city council to come back and say, yeah, we're meeting that vision of the new general plan. So we're going to go into two different rooms. We're going to separate into two groups. I think if it's all right with city staff, we're going to ask you, once you get into the room, to select two people to serve as the reporters back to the group when we get to Poplar Creek. So those two people can share the 5 minutes. In each room we have a smart screen with a map, and it's a stylized map. It's not the kind of map you would see when you go online to see city zoning. It's a map that shows you where there's schools and parks, public places in San Mateo, and we're going to have you work on the smart screen and in PowerPoint. And it's only one slide in PowerPoint, so you don't have to worry about those rules that Bruce gave you are awesome, but we're really just going to make one slide that's going to be a poster that we're also going to print, and then we're going to take those over to Rotary, and then when we get to Rotary, two people from each group can report back and say, here's why we decided these things. So you can write on it with the smart pen. We have a series of pictures for you to look at to put on it, and it's going to help describe your vision for San Mateo in 2040. So there's a kind of a set of things we're going to go through in each room that are the same. I think rather than try to cover that now, we'll do that when we get to the rooms. But it's very exciting that you guys are here, and I think you're going to really enjoy this. And we were setting up earlier today, and trying to compare, like, how do you go back and forth from the smart pen to PowerPoint? And I said, you know what? I think the students are probably going to be able to do this just as well as the adults. So I'm looking forward to your efficiency in the exercise. Does anybody have any questions before we go into the exercise? Any questions about the general plan or the vision statement or how it fits together? Anything? Okay, yeah, Nick? No, the general plan, Roscoe, can you go back to the subjects, the elements? So the general plan basically deals with every single one of these topics by law. And so what it says is, what are the city's policies and future actions going to be about circulation, which is a fancy word for traffic and transportation, housing, conservation, open space, and recreation. So every city has a goal of how much parkland there should be per person in the city. And ours is very high, and we're still working towards it. But these are all subjects that are recognized as being very important to quality of life. Zoning and land use come under state laws about public health, safety, and welfare. And so really the general plan is actually a tool, and the zoning, which is the law that implements it, is a tool to try to create better quality of life, to make sure people have adequate and safe housing, and to make sure people have ways to get places around the community that are safe and efficient. But it also deals with, basic safety and health issues like noise can only be a certain level. Each general plan actually has a table in it that says you can only make noise so loud right outside a home or outside a daycare center, outside a school. And safety, the safety element is different from city to city. Well, like one potential situation we have here is sea level rise or tsunami. A lot of cities and we also have wildfire up in the hills. So the general plan really deals with a lot more than housing and a lot more than just how the land is used. It's about how, when people build on the landscape, what kinds of things do we need to try to govern or refine so that people have high quality of life and safe situations? Good question. Anything else? Yes? Well, I do know what the current vision statement is, and it's in the general plan. It's a fairly long, kind of lengthy set of paragraphs, and I think what we wanted, and you're welcome to look at it, but we didn't bring it today because we wanted your original ideas about today's 2018. We're youth in a kind of a new age, and what do we see as the future? So I would encourage you to go back after today and then kind of compare your statements to that, and I think you'll see it's kind of just a different era than it was even 10 years ago, 15 years ago. Anything else? Okay.
All right, guys, so if you have a red folder, you will be going with Jessica. Jessica, raise your hand right in the back over there. That is Jessica. You are going to head to conference room C. And feel free, I did leave some candy out there because it's Halloween next week. So there's candy out there if you want to grab more food, some drinks. There are some drinks and some snacks in the rooms as well, but if you guys want anything from out here, please grab that. If you have a white folder, you'll be going with Alex. Alex, please raise your hand. He's standing right in the middle of the aisleway. You will be going to conference room A, that first one on the right. All right. And if you need to quickly go to the bathroom, do so right now. And good luck. See you guys in a little bit. Before we head over to Poplar Creek, I have someone I want you guys to meet. Maybe you've seen his face around, maybe you haven't, but I would like to introduce to you the one, the only, City of San Mateo Mayor, Rick Bonilla.
Thank you very much for the unique introduction. I appreciate that. Well, welcome to City Hall. I've been seeing some students coming into the City Council meetings, and I think that's a really good indication because, as it turns out, governing is a very important topic today, and that's kind of what we do here. I wanted to ask you, we'll start off with a question, and please, a couple of people respond. What is it that you think that the City Council does here? What do we do? Raise a hand, or else I'll call on somebody. There we go. Right. Well, that's part of what we do, right. So basically, I just said it, we govern, okay? So I guess, let me ask this question, what is governing? Or, yeah, go ahead. Okay, right, exactly. Making the right decisions, which is sometimes a challenge. But yeah, it's our job to pick up the reins of what we have, what we've been building on here in our city for 124 years now in San Mateo. We have had good governance. We have a great city. It thrives. We have good schools. We have nice parks. We have some transportation that we can talk about the efficacy of our transportation at this point. We have a lot of housing, but there seems to be a question about whether we have enough housing. So there are a lot of questions that come to the city council, and we have to study these different things and come up with some kinds of decisions. Basically, we set policy. So the council does not run I'm the mayor, but I don't run the day-to-day operations of the city. Here in San Mateo, we have a council manager form of government, and the city manager who we hire, he's here every day. He makes the big bucks, and he makes all the daily decisions about how to implement the policy that we set, the council. So when we sit up here, the mayor's in the middle, the vice mayor's right next to him, and the other three council members are seated around us there. The city attorney is always over here to keep an eye on what we're doing and make sure we're, being legal with everything we do. The city manager is sitting right over here. So we have a lot of big questions these days. And one of the questions is our environment. Where are we going with our environment, right? We're having issues there. And some people say we're not doing enough to deal with those issues. Some people feel like, oh, no, you don't need to do anything. Everything's fine. And I think that this is something you young people really should be very concerned with. And I would encourage you to start paying as much attention as you can and coming to the city council meeting and expressing your opinions. Because the sooner you get involved, right now the voting age is 18, but you don't have to wait for that. This is the United States of America, and you are people who live here in our city. And we represent not just citizens, not just voters, not just homeowners. We represent everybody who lives here in San Mateo. Everybody has a voice. You all can come here and express your opinions and share with us what you think are the important things that we should take care of. And I really encourage you to do that. We don't hear enough from the youth in our city. And I know that we have a youth advisory committee, which I think is a great thing. But personally, I think we should have a member, a younger member from high school probably, on each and every board or commission that we have, so that we get on every single decision that's being made some measure of a voice of the young people who are inheriting this world, right? Who are going to have to deal with many issues that we have. I think it's really important also that you get registered and vote as soon as you can. And in fact, I know some young people that I met last month in Belmont who have formed a group called Vote San Mateo 16. Or no, Vote 16 San Mateo County. That's the name. And I spoke with them. They have this idea. They say, we'd like to vote when we're 16. So I think that's an interesting thing, and I would encourage anybody here who thinks that's interesting to get online and find these young people and talk to them, because it's never too soon for you at your age in high school to start paying attention really to what's going on. That's going to make a difference about the world you're going to live in, and governing makes a difference. Believe me, there are all sorts of things that we can do that help a lot of people, and there are difficult things that we have to deal with, like sometimes there's not enough money, not enough revenue coming in to deal with all the things that we have designated as priorities for the city, the things that we would like to do, and the things that we need to do. Things that we would like to do, like improve parks. Things that we would need to do, like build a new wastewater treatment plant. Does anybody know what happens at the wastewater treatment plant? That's where, when you flush your toilet, everything goes there. It's different from the water that when it rains, it goes into that hole on the street. That goes down to a creek or the lagoon, and it eventually goes to the bay. But when you flush your toilet, it's not magic. There's a whole huge infrastructure there, okay, that we all pay for and support with our taxes that we pay. When you own a home, you pay property taxes. When you go to work, you pay income taxes. When you buy something, on most goods that you purchase, there are sales taxes. And all parts of these things come to the city, and we use to pay for these services. So right now we're engaged in our 124-year-old city in building a new wastewater treatment plant and upgrading, replacing, and making larger some of the collection system, we call it the collections, the pipes in the streets that carry the sewage to the wastewater treatment plant. Altogether, between that and another storage area that we're looking at building, we have about $1 billion worth of investment that we need to make. And we're working on that. So this is one of the things we need to do. because when you flush your toilet, stuff needs to go somewhere and be treated so that it's safe to either release into the bay or to pour into the aquifer underground, or maybe use it as recycled water. And we're definitely planning on having our water being of sufficient quality to be used as recycled water at the minimum. At the minimum, there are things that can be done with it besides drinking. But who knows, when we finish this plant in 5, 6, or 7 years, we may be able to go an extra step farther and make it drinking quality water. A lot of people might not want to drink it. We may still put it into the aquifer or some other place. But there it will be. And water is, believe it or not, forever people have thought, man, there's no end to the water. It's just everywhere. Well, now we know. This world has finite resources. Our water, there's only so much. And it's now showing signs that it's under stress. Water is a good, clean, healthy water is getting harder to find. Luckily, we have a great source in the Sierras. Water comes from by Yosemite there. There's a big dam where the water is collected from the western Sierras called Hetch Hetchy, and that water is piped over here. It ends up in a reservoir, and then we get it where we live. It's treated. It's good, clean water. It doesn't have parasites or any other damaging things that some places have in their water. Also, no diseases. Clean water is very important, which is why it's so important we clean our waste before we put it in the bay. So that's just one thing, an example of a big thing we need to do. It costs a lot of money, takes a lot of our time and attention. But the other things we need to worry about are, for instance, housing. Right now we're enduring a kind of a lengthy housing shortage. It's been going on for decades. It hasn't got much better. Over the last, I think, between 2010 and 2017, in this county, we created like 100,000 jobs. And these numbers, I keep reading different numbers. So they're all kind of in the ballpark, but they're not exactly the same. But at the same time, we only completed 5,000 new housing units. Big difference, 100,000, 5,000. At the same time, you have to think, where do all those people who come here for work every day live? Well, a lot of them live across the bay or farther south, San Jose, and maybe even farther. And some people live way out in the Central Valley. And they drive or they ride the train, but there's only so much room on the train. A lot of people drive. So when they're driving all the way, what's their car doing? It's polluting, right? So we have lots of big issues. I mean, these are big issues that we have to work on. And truly, the climate is an existential issue. Okay, we're already hearing that certain species are going to become extinct. How am I doing on time? Okay, certain species are already becoming extinct. Well, unless we really get serious, okay, and in San Mateo we've gotten serious. We have our climate action plan. We have a commission that's assigned to deal with infrastructure and sustainability issues. We also have here in San Mateo County, and I'm a member of the board of directors, Peninsula Clean Energy. At your house, when you flip a switch, you're getting electricity that's not generated by PG&E. It's generated by clean, renewable sources, and it's purchased by Peninsula Clean Energy, and all the energy in your houses now, except for 2% of the houses in this county, all of it otherwise, is at least 85% greenhouse gas free. And if your parents want to pay just 1 cent per kilowatt hour more, they can have 100% renewable energy. Okay, and that's the energy that's being used. We just had a big groundbreaking last week out in Los Banos, 500 megawatt solar generation facility. It belongs to our county joint powers authority called Peninsula Clean Energy. So the message, get active, get involved, pay attention, please. It's your life, okay? It's your world. I really encourage you to do something. It's not hard, okay? You just have to be engaged. You have to be interested in talking to people, meeting people, and working to get things done that we all need done. And it's not about telling people what to do. It's about finding out what people want to do about the important things. So it's about information. You have to get out there and communicate. Thank you all very much. Any questions? Yeah, go ahead. You know what? A lot of people think the mayor in this city, the mayor is not like the mayor in San Francisco or the mayor in San Jose. Those guys are elected to be the mayor, right? So they have a 4-year term, and they are indeed in charge of the day-to-day activities in those big cities. In San Bruno, a small city, They elect their mayor every 2 years. He also has a city manager, though, because he works for a living. In these cities, like, for instance, in San Mateo, we city council members, and we're all city council members, make $600 a month. That's how much we get paid for all the work that we do. And so it's a lot of work for the mayor, more than when you're a regular council member, because everybody calls the mayor, everybody writes to the mayor, everybody has advice for the mayor how we should be doing things. Everybody wants to know why we didn't do it that way, and what are we going to do about their particular thing, a crack in their sidewalk in front of their house. So it's, and other more important things too, but it gets down to that level of things. Okay, anybody else? Quick question. All right then. Thank you all very much. Have a great day. I left some of my cards here. If anybody wants a card, please take one. Okay, thank you, Christy.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. All right. Oop, we're stuck in there. Thank you. Appreciate it. All right, you guys, we're going to head over to Poplar Creek. Do I still need to talk into this? Okay. We're going to go to Poplar Creek. So the 4 students I pointed out, you're going to go with Alex. Alex, where are you? In the back over there. Everyone else, does everyone know where Jessica is? Jessica's in the back. If I did not talk to you individually, you're going to go with her. And we'll see you at Poplar Creek. Remember what Sheila said, spread out. Grab a card. Grab a card.
This is always a great day that we have when we have youth in government visit us. I will tell you at the end of the day, when the students fill out their evaluation forms, lunch is the highlight of it. So thank you all for supporting it, for being a partner. It really is a partnership between the City of San Mateo, the Rotary Club, but also our high schools. And so I certainly want to give a shout out to our principals, Yvonne Shue and Pat Kurtz, from Aragon and Aragon and San Mateo, and then also Jeff Gilbert at Hillsdale and Barry Thornton at Sarah, because there are so many competing activities that are happening on high school campuses these days. It's really hard to get students round up, to get them freed up from classes, so they're not missing assignments or turning in something late. So in the old days, as I like to say, you just sort of herded all the kids on the bus, and sometimes you weren't even sure who showed up. Today, it's much different, and so we really appreciate the support from our principals and from everyone who helped support the program. Today's activity, I think, is probably one of the more relevant topics that our students and the club has heard in recent years, and that is an update of the City of San Mateo's general plan. And I'm going to leave all the specific details to Julia Klein in terms of telling more about that. But it really is a very unique opportunity in the history of any city to update its general plan. And we're certainly very appreciative of the ability for our students to be able to be a part of that. So I think you're going to hear some really interesting things this afternoon, having been through some of the sessions that I heard this morning. I do want to acknowledge that putting together a program like this takes a lot of staff time and effort. These things just don't come together. And so if I can just have you stand when I call your name, because we have a number of staff from our Park and Recreation Department that is always the host department, and this year with community development, we have a number of planners here. So from Parks and Recreation, Scott Leslie, Tracy Brummett, Alex Greer, Jessica Lira, and then primarily the person who is in charge of our Youth Activities Council and who really puts the effort behind it, Christine Peralta. So if you would all stand. And then from our planning division, Ron Munikawa, Julia Klein, Roscoe Maida, and Lily Lim, along with the 2 consultants who are working on the city's general plan, Charlie Knox and Carrie Stone from Placeworks. So if you would all stand, thank you again for lending your expertise to this effort this morning. And with that, I am going to invite Julia Klein to come up and set the stage a little bit about general plan so that as the students begin their presentation, you'll kind of understand what it is that they're referencing. So take it away, Julia.
Thank you, Sheila. Hi, everybody. My name is Julia Klein, so I work with the city's planning division. And a couple of different things I wanted to cover. I think, do most of you know what a general plan is? Okay. So a lot of the students this morning also had some knowledge of different things about the city government, a lot of questions. So we went through an exercise with them where we talked about what the general plan is. So basically, a general plan is a blueprint for the city. And what we're trying to do with this general plan update is talk about the city through the year 2040. So several, 2 decades out into the future. As a blueprint, it contains several elements, including land use, housing, circulation, traffic, economics, and safety, which safety is police, fire, sustainability, climate change. It also contains the community's vision. With that comes goals, policies, and programs that implement that community vision. For decision makers and city staff today and into the future, it serves as a guiding tool for future decision making. For the community, the residents, the teachers, police, firefighters, safety workers, local businesses, healthcare workers, service staff, there's a full spectrum of people that make up the San Mateo community and contribute to the quality of life that we all enjoy. So for the community, it serves the document, the general plan document. It actually contains, it formally documents a community's interests, and it includes things such as balancing growth with quality of life, so big picture goals. When we started this general plan update effort, we had to ask the city council for money. So one of the things that the city council directed staff to focus on through this effort is the importance of making sure that the engagement process includes a broad spectrum of the San Mateo community. And so when we think about San Mateo, we have 5 generations alive and living in San Mateo, and that's growing. So with us here today is a segment of that community, the high schoolers in San Mateo. And earlier this morning, we did provide them with some background about what the general plan is. They then broke up into 2 teams. We asked them 3 questions. So what do you like about San Mateo? What do you dislike about San Mateo? And then what do you wish we had in San Mateo? So very big picture questions. And then what they did was broke up into group discussions about what they would like to see. More to enhance, things that they would like to address. And so the 2 presentations that are going to be coming up before you, Team A, I'm going to call them if they're ready to give their presentations to you right now. So Team A is Tom and Lena. If you guys would come up.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Lena Hammock.
And my name is Tommy Lee.
And we were in the, group of high school teenagers. We are, Group A. We devised sort of a plan of what we felt that we hope to see in San Mateo a while from now when the next general plan is redone. So some of the first few things that we thought were really fascinating and that we should hope to improve on are we appreciated the diversity that San Mateo has to offer, but we didn't appreciate a lot of the crowdedness and the traffic and the inability to walk around and be able to interact with people even though it's very congested. So we liked that, we liked interactive art, and we wanted to uncrowd public spaces by including sidewalks, and we wanted to put more benches in the area so that people can sit and chat and wait for buses. We wanted more parking around retail concentrated areas and maybe underground parking even with new parking technology, and additional and more affordable housing, including housing that's above retail stores. We also wanted to bring food options much closer to high schools because they're really congested and focused in the elementary school area right here, and all of the high schools are sort of on the other side of San Mateo.
We also took in consideration of other ways to travel around, such as biking instead of taking cars. We want to encourage people to continue to shop and to have new retail locations closer to the neighborhoods where we can involve more people into. You said most of it. So. I think that's about it.
Yeah, that was our plan.
So we have a few minutes for a Q&A.
Oh, yeah.
Anybody?
You wanted to have more benches around San Mateo. Do you have any idea where you would like those benches to be placed?
So we're thinking about to place more benches where bus stops are, because people usually have to stand over there. So just in case if people like show up early, they'll have a place to sit and rest for a moment.
Also, wanted to include bus stops around where high school buses pick up, because currently they pick up in areas that are not really designated like city bus stops, so there are no places that the students can wait in a safe area.
You mentioned you like to have more restaurants near the high schools. What type of restaurants would you like to have? There's not very many fast food restaurants in San Mateo. That's a good thing. But you guys have any ideas of what you're looking for?
It was, I guess, less about restaurants and more about available food options. So even corner stores that are owned by people who live in the neighborhood were good options. It's just that because of the more congested, or not congested, there's a lot, it's like a very focused and concentrated part of San Mateo that has a lot of like stores and businesses, and that's kind of far away from the high schools, especially when a lot of the high school students can get out early and then all they do is roam the neighborhood rather than have somewhere to go and be with each other rather than spread out.
When you do this study, do you take into account the fiscal costs of any of the projects, like underground parking?
We didn't specifically, no.
So did you talk about density and heights? Because that seems to be the big concern among your parents and grandparents. And while you said you didn't like traffic and you wanted more affordable housing, how do you feel about increasing density and building heights in San Mateo?
We didn't really take that into consideration.
Even if you didn't talk about it, I think she's asking just general.
Okay.
What
My personal thoughts, specifically for me, I don't really like the idea of building San Mateo up, because the idea of going to San Francisco in general, going to the city, just causes me stress because I don't like going there. And there are so many people, and there's a lot of people, and that's not the environment that I want to live in, especially because I'm here in San Mateo and I go to school in San Mateo. So personally, I'd rather that San Mateo did not build up.
Thank you.
Thank you both.
Thank you.
So we'll go ahead and call up Team B, which is Nick and Layla.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Nick Lockery, a senior at Sarah High School. Thank you all for having us. We are here today as concerned teenagers in our community to offer input for a new general plan for San Mateo. You and I know that we live in a great city, but we can also admit that there are much needed improvements, and that's why we're here to address those. From our group, I will begin by discussing transportation, circulation, and commercial building. Our vision statement that we laid out is providing sustainable, efficient, and cost-effective transportation initiatives for the benefit of all of our citizens. Our key points are providing renewable energy buses, autonomous buses that can alleviate traffic congestion, providing charging stations for green energy cars that are being built up now, not only Tesla, but new cars that we want to bring into the city, and provide for a cleaner, more efficient transportation system. We want to have a cost-effective, better facilities of this new transportation system, which will include wasting less time with the waiting on buses, and that's why we need more but smaller buses. Next, we also want to, our vision for 2040 is a free public transportation system that will be centered around this autonomous busing system. The goals that we have set for our transportation circulation lead into our vision for commercial building here in San Mateo County. Our vision statement for commercial building is a small town atmosphere while creating public spaces for community bonding and kinship. In addition, provide live-work spaces for local business owners. Our key points here are creating public areas like live amphitheaters in our it's called parks. I'm talking about, sorry, my bad. In Beresford, we want to create a amphitheater type layout so that we can attract farmers markets, new music groups to come and play, create a better atmosphere for our community. And we also want to have study spaces, game rooms, arcade basements under spaces in the live-work spaces that we'll be providing for employers, such as in neighborhoods where we build up the new housing, but also shops below, so that we can have the business owners live in those neighborhoods above their shops, and also provide plazas so that we can attract local business leaders and create a more welcoming environment. And now I'll turn it over to Layla for the rest.
Hello, everyone. Let's give a round of applause for Nick. That was pretty good. Okay. My name is Layla Tamale, and I'm a junior at Aragon High School. For our group, we also talked about the Parks and Public Spaces vision statement. We see San Mateo as a city that has events for all ages that brings everyone together throughout the city. We have a multitude of locations to host these events, like the San Mateo Event Center and Laurelwood Park. We are, or we hope to be, a non-segregated community that involves all neighborhoods far and wide, including North Central and Highlands. San Mateo will become a more unified community by renovating the downtown area's current layout of separated streets into an open town square or plaza that is more conducive to community gatherings. This leads into the housing vision statement. We see San Mateo as an affordable community that provides a variety of mixed-use housings. We have innovative housing ideas such as expanding spaces above and below rather than outwards, preserving areas like the Greenbelt. These multi-use buildings would have sub-level recreational spaces, street-level retail, and rooftop gardens, thus alleviating the housing crisis and traffic going from one's house to one's work. This also leads to the final sustainability vision statement. We hope that San Mateo will reach a goal of relying 75% on renewable energy by 2040. We envision the implementation of more community gardens, not only bringing together citizens from all over San Mateo, but also livening the community with art sculptures. These community gardens would include solar panels as well as to help achieve the 75% sustainable energy goal. We have to focus on climate change now. Thank you.
So we have another couple minutes for Q&A of whatever either of us talked about. So if whoever would like to ask a question, please.
So you mentioned that one of your goals was like community bonding and whatnot, and then you also talked about transportation. Do you have any ways of like actually communicating those ideas to like the public and like anything like that?
Let me do this. So our solution would be to create an app run through San Mateo County that will advertise events that are going on in the community, such as gatherings at local amphitheaters in the parks. That will also provide a schedule for the transportation system that we plan to create, bus plans, and also the original cost before we can get to that free public transportation system that we envision. And it would also provide the models of the buses and the autonomous system that will be running when we have that plan in place.
And as we want this to be something that can be accessible for all ages, from youth to seniors, we could have these listings broadcasted in schools and in senior houses, senior communities.
With the advent of a lot of housing, have you thought about the transportation as, like the Concar Center, for instance, it's going to have 930 units, but the transportation in that, the along Delaware, Concar Drive, is going to be horrendous.
Yes, and I think the key to alleviating the traffic congestion in that area is, one, having more but smaller autonomous buses to alleviate that. But you want to call me?
I think that we have to encourage people to rely more on public transportation, and part of that is relieving the stigma that we have with public transportation, especially among my generation. I think that we're becoming more open to the idea of using Caltrain, of using Samtrans, and we could even use, like Nick said, these autonomous buses, which would actually alleviate traffic, because we could carpool and have a community of people just taking buses instead of a community of drivers. And these would also benefit efforts to reducing climate change, because they could be, using less carbon dioxide in the ozone layer, and then also these autonomous vehicles could be using green energy.
And yeah, that's the point, is we want to create a more renewable, resourceful community here, such as encouraging farmers markets in smaller parts of plazas that we'd like to build for the business leaders that we'll be bringing in. It's all about locally sourced growth, which is what we want, encouraging that from our small business owners. And we need that renewable energy source, as she talked about, for our climate change problems. So.
Question over here.
Yes. Hi. Thank you. You talked about having underground recreation. So I wondered, was there a feeling in your group that we don't have enough recreation for youth, places to go in the city? And are you envisioning this as some place that all youth could have access to? And then what kind of recreation do you envision in these underground recreation places?
So specifically, a specific idea we had was underground arcades, or just an area, an open space that youth could go to, where people of all ages really, to just go and have an efficient time to study and collaborate with people in a community space, work on schoolwork, work on work. Just, it doesn't have to be tied down to a specific use, but yeah, arcades and workspace.
And yeah, we do have great programs for our youth, such as this, which is great that we're able to come here and talk to you about what we feel concerned about. But where we go after school, such as if we want to get work done, we have one library, San Mateo Public Library, in the city, and we think that we should either have more libraries so that we have the ability to get work done, or, as Layla said, community spaces so that we can recreational use, have programs there for us youth, and sort of go places after school instead of be stuck going home, or not spend socializing, getting out of the house instead of just playing video games. That's the key that we want to focus on, and getting our community, us as teenagers, engaged. And so if we can do that, we can build more community spaces in the urban parts of our city. That's our goal, and I think we can do that with the plan that we've laid out.
So, Nick, I heard this morning when I was over there that you have some political aspirations. I'm just wondering, I know you're very supportive of local politics. However, Layla, I just was wondering if you perhaps had some political aspirations after having worked with Nick. Maybe maybe he would help you run for president or something like that. What do you think?
Thanks.
Let's hear it.
Okay, well, at the moment, I'm just really this past year, I think, seeing all of the political turmoil with who is in the president's office right now. I think that it's up to people of my generation, this nation's future, really, to take this matter into our hands, like climate change, people saying, our president not even addressing the fact that this is something that we have to face now. Even if it affects us in 10 years, it's still affecting America. I personally think that local government is an amazing place to start with, at least. And even if you stay in local government and don't expand into national or federal government, I think that, like Sheila was saying, and Christina, I believe, that local government is what is impacting citizens in the daily life. We have to focus on our roads, on potholes, on bridges and libraries, and I think that that is also extremely important, as well as issues like climate change and facing diversity and sexual harassment. And yeah, I think that being a part of the political landscape would be amazing opportunity.
Well, I would say I feel the same sentiments as her. But Bruce, I told Bruce my dream is to be a congressman one day, so he's been having some fun with that. But I like to just say the problem really is we can point fingers at a lot of people. We could point at the president. We could point it at this or that, right? But it's up to us, I think. Why I want to be a congressman? Because Congress isn't doing anything. That they're not doing their. It's true. They're not doing their job. I mean, for example, the California legislature, they passed over 900 bills this year. What did the Congress do? Nothing. And that's why. That's why we have to take action as a generation. Our generation, we are the ones that can change this. And because we've been provided programs such as this, we're here to exchange ideas and learn from the mistakes that have occurred. But then also, we learn what is right and what we can do and how we can help out. And so I believe that it's our generation that can do something, and I want to step up and I want to do my part, and that's why I'm here today. So. Good job.
Thank you, everyone. So I just had a couple of things. So I think the general plan update effort, it's a multi-year effort, 2 years and potentially a few more months, depending on how much community engagement we get through this effort. So a couple of different things. I want to advertise and hopefully have you guys spread the word. We have on Saturday, November 3rd, 2 community vision workshops. The morning session is going to be at our Central Park, 10 a.m. in the recreation center. And then the afternoon session is going to be at Hillsdale High School in the cafeteria. That's going to be at 2:30. It's going to be the exact same visioning workshop, and so pick and choose, but please come to one of those sessions. For more information, we also have a project website, strivesanmateo.org, so very easy to remember. And then lastly, I have a few business cards. If you guys have thoughts, ideas, further questions, please do not hesitate to email me. We will respond. Lastly, I just want to thank everybody for hosting the use of today and tomorrow in this, and I hope you guys had a lot of sort of good takeaways from what they have shared today. Thank you.